Hey, what's up? Hello guys, my name is Mika, aka Mika Reads, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing a fun video, aka talking about my 26 books for 2026. I'm so excited to be making this because I really wanted to set like a semi-TBR for this year, especially now that I'm getting back into my reading like momentum. It's currently January 6th and I've already finished pretty much 2.5 books. I read The Housemaid's Secret, and I'm currently reading The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. So we're already like starting off the year to a really good start. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'm gonna start off with new releases for 2026 and we'll go in order of release date. So book number 1 is going to be Just Friends by Haley Pham, which releases on March 6th of this year. If you guys don't know, I've watched Haley Pham since I was in middle school and I just graduated college. I've absolutely loved her, and she's one of the reasons that I got into vlogging in the first place. Since middle school, I was always like, I want to be a vlogger, I want to be a vlogger. And now look at her, she's a booktuber and she's coming out with her own book. So as far as I know, and I hope I'm correct, this book is actually based off of Haley and her husband, which I think is going to be very cute to kind of read about like their love story in the form of a book. So it looks like it's going to be a second chance romance about childhood friends who reconnect in the future. Another interesting about this book that I'm really excited for, it's going to be in dual timelines, so I'm assuming it's going to be like both past and present, which is actually similar to the book that I'm reading right now. Other than that, that's all I really know about the book. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers for all the books that I have on this list. That way I can go into reading them like unbiased and also like just more surprised. I don't know what's gonna happen and I get to read about it and find out. Going on to book number 2, we have Love Song by Elle Kennedy. This one is expected to come out on March 17th. So if you know Elle Kennedy, you know that she does the off-campus series. I actually have them right down here. I'm kind of blocking it so you guys can't see it, but I absolutely love the book. So it was one of the first hockey romances that I read and I was instantly hooked. Also, if I sound congested, it's because I'm having really bad allergies. It's been so rainy in Hawaii lately that my allergies cannot keep up. As for this book, it's about the next generation of the off-campus characters. So I believe it's the kids of Garrett Graham and John Logan, I believe, are the two that it's about. And on a side note, it's actually coming to Amazon Prime if I'm not mistaken. It's currently in production. The off-campus series based off the first 4 books, The Deal, The Mistake, The Score, and The Goal. So more of a reason to go ahead and read them. Book number 3 is actually going to be My Dreadful Darling by H.G. Carlton. This one is set to come out on March 20th, 2026, which is actually mine and my fiance's 4-year anniversary, so yay. And honestly, I can't tell you anything about this book just because there's currently no blurb. Under the book description, it says blurb coming soon, placeholder, date for pre-order. Either way, I know I'm gonna love her book nonetheless, and I really hope it's another dark romance because I've been wanting to broaden my dark romance palette and get more into reading them, so fingers crossed that, you know, it follows the same as her other books. Oh my god, I lied and now my numbering's gonna be off. Book number 14 we have is The Book Witch by Meg Schaffer. So I actually found this from Sarah Caroli's video on her 26 books for 2026 and I decided to add it because it seemed interesting. So this book is expected to come out on April 7th of 2026. If it gets out of order, guys, this is gonna be earlier in the video. Just know that I messed up. So the synopsis of this book is this girl can hop into any novel, but she can't stay there. So this little book witch was sworn to defend works of fiction from all foes, real and imaginary. She has her magical umbrella and her feline familiar, and she's able to jump in and out of novels to fix malicious alterations and rogue heroes. As a book reader myself, like that seems like a pretty cool power. Like imagine you were able to jump into any book you wanted, because it's about a witch. You could jump in and out of books, like a book about a girl who can go into books, if that makes sense. I don't know, it seemed interesting. Sarah Caroli's gonna read it and she's one of my favorite booktubers, so I was like, you know what, I want to read it, and also just because it sounds interesting. King of Gluttony by Anna Huang, and this book comes out on April 28th. So I'm super excited to finally get the next book in the Kings of Sin series, and I'm also more excited to finally get to know more about Sebastian. I remember reading or like meeting him first, I believe, in King of Sloth, and I don't know, I just loved like his attitude, and he was such like a memorable side character. I was like, oh, I really hope we get his book soon, and Now we do, just a couple months away. I just want to give props to Anna Huang too. Like, she is just pumping out the books like super quick. Like, no crazy wait times. Like, it's only about like less than a year in between her books of the same series. So I give her props. That is why you're one of my favorite romance authors. I've loved like the rest of the Kings of Sin series, so I know I'm gonna love King of Gluttony for sure. Going on to May, and book number 5, we have Fever Dream by Elsie Silver, which comes out on May 19th. I'm excited because this is going to be the first book of her new series, aka Emerald Lake. And it looks like it's going to be about professional bull rider Emmett Bush alongside the female main character Julia Silva. Elsie Silver was also one of my first cowboy romance stories I've ever read. She's the only author that I read in that genre, and I've loved all of them. Like, after I finished Flawless for the first time, I told my fiance, can we sign up for horseback riding lessons? Like, I want to be a cowgirl. I want to get cowgirl boots. I want to learn how to ride Western style and like have a horse, which I've always wanted a horse since I was little. Yeah, I was like so into horseback riding. I feel like I'm very easily influenced, so like once I read a book about a profession, I'm like, oh my god, I want to do that. Cowboy romance, I want to be a cowgirl. Like, her books just had me so hooked. The smut, so good. The romance, the characters, like the plot, everything about her books. Going on to book number 6, which also releases on May 19th, is going to be The Daisy Chain Flower Shop by Laurie Gilmore. I have read all of Laurie Gilmore's books except for the latest one, which is The Gingerbread Bakery. I have it up here somewhere, but I haven't gotten to read it yet. But I've loved them. They're honestly such like short, cozy, cute reads. Like, you could finish the book in a couple hours, but it's still like very cute and cozy, and it's like close to home. It reminds me a lot of Stars Hollow, so if any of you guys have watched Gilmore Girls and really enjoyed it, you guys would probably like this book series. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at the summary and I have no idea who these characters are. I don't know if you meet them in The Gingerbread Bakery, but you definitely have not met them in the other 4 books, so I'm excited. It's gonna be new. It looks like we have a newcomer to town, who is Elliot, and it looks like he's been adjusting to town following his own relationship turmoil. Oh, looking at the bottom of the summary, it says, The Daisy Chain Flower Shop is a cozy romantic mystery with a fake relationship dynamic. I was just gonna ask about that too. I don't know what trope this book follows, but it looks like it's fake relationship, and I love the fake dating trope. It's just so good, and it's fun watching how it goes from a fake relationship and slowly turns into a real one. So I'm really excited for that. For book number 7, and our last book that's going to be a new release, is going to be the 3rd book by Callie Hart. Have no idea what the name of the book is, so here's just like a little placeholder. So right now it just says untitled, but it's expected to come out on November 10th. All the book description has on Goodreads as of right now is the rules have all been broken, everything has changed. Can Sarris and Fisher save their kingdom, or is it already too late? I'm not gonna lie, I still have to read Brimstone. I just did a haul talking about all the books that I got from Barnes & Nobles, and Brimstone was a part of it, and I have yet to read it, so I have no idea how it ends off or what to expect for book 3, but just know that it's one of my anticipated reads. We are finally going into the rest of my 2026 books, and these are all going to be books that have already come out. So they're either on my physical TBR, or they are books that I have on my Kindle or have yet to buy but want to read. Okay, so coming up with book number 8 is going to be Mile High by Liz Tomford, which is the first book in the Windy City series. I have had so many people recommend this book to me, and I've been wanting to read it for so long. I've just been putting it off. But to be fair, I do have like a lot of books on my shelves, but now it's finally going to be the year that I get into the Windy City series. So as far as I know, the Windy City series, like each book, it's a different sport. I believe this first book is going to be about hockey, so I'm really excited to read about that. Other than that, going into it completely blind, but I want to keep it that way, especially now that I know that I want to read this series. I don't want to know any spoilers. I don't want to know what happens at all. Book number 9, we have Guild by Raven Kennedy. I believe this one is kind of like a King of Midas retelling, like the King of Gold. So yeah, so this is the myth of King Midas reimagined. It's a compelling adult fantasy series that's as addictive as it is unexpected, with romance, intrigue, and danger. The gilded world of Aurea will grip you from the very first page. It looks really good. I know a lot of people have talked about the Plated Prisoner series, but I've always kind of just been like, okay, like I want to read it, but it's not high on my list. But going into 2026, I do want to broaden my horizons, read new books, start new series. I tried to keep everything on this list as like new as I could. And by new, I mean like it's not just the next book in a series that I'm currently reading, minus the new releases, just because those are new releases. But this one is like getting me hyped to read. There are almost 500,000 readings and about 33,000 reviews, so I know it's a popular book, and I think it's finally time for me to give it a read. Going on to book number 10, we got One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. I'm looking at my Goodreads, and it looks like I bookmarked this book as one to read back in August of 2024. So it's been there for a while. Just looking at the first line of the summary, it says Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Interesting. I know a lot of people loved it. One of my friends, Aika, actually did this for one of her book club reads, I believe, but never read it. It doesn't look like there's like kind of a blurb about what exactly it's about. Not just like off the summary, but kind of like oh, this book is about this or that. Like, it doesn't say any of that. So going into this one blind as well, it does seem like very dark and spooky, so I might save this near the back end of the year, around October's, to like kind of just fit the vibes. Going on to book number 11, we have Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. This is going to be my first Lynn Painter book, but I have heard lots of good things about her. So I honestly got this idea to read this book because I was just kind of like scrolling through like the explore page to kind of get an idea of what 26 books I wanted to read, because like I said, wanted to keep it new, didn't want to just continue series. And then that's when I saw the cover of this book, just from the beginning of the series, or the summary, where it said, things get textual when a steamy message from a random wrong number turns into an anonymous relationship in this hilarious rom-com by Lynn Painter. And I think what really hooked me from the beginning was just how it's a wrong text sent, and out of it comes a anonymous relationship, because I feel like we all have at one point sent a wrong text to the wrong number. So I'm really intrigued to see how they're gonna turn that into an actual like anonymous relationship. So I don't know if they actually like end up meeting, or if it really is just a fake relationship without meeting. I don't know, but I'm intrigued with the concept and wanted to add it to the list. Book number 12 is actually from my physical TBR, and I have it right here. And it is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. When I first joined Book Talk, this was like everyone's #1. If you want a book that you're gonna cry to, one of the saddest books on Book Talk, it was always this book. And I have both If He Had Been With Me and If Only I Had Told Her, but I've yet to read them. And I don't know if it's just because I'm scared I'm gonna get my heart broken, I'm gonna cry a lot, because I do cry pretty easily to books. But it's been daunting. I've had it literally on my shelf for the past 3 years, so I think it is finally time to read this book. Book number 13 is going to be Fallen Gods by Rachel Van Dyken. This was also another book I found by just kind of like browsing the explore options on Fable and Goodreads, and I was really intrigued by the cover because it kind of looks like a deer with like gold hanging, and I like the gold font. This does look like it's a newer book. I believe this was under the new releases section. It looks like there's only 2,000 ratings, so it's fairly new, which means like, hey, let's give it a chance, you know? Like, not a lot of people have read it before. There's no opinions, bias. There's nothing for me to be spoiled about because there's not going to be spoilers circulating. And overall, it just looked interesting based off the cover alone. This looks like it's about the gods, obviously. It says they said the gods were myth, that the giants were only stories told around dying fires. They lied. I'm curious, if you guys have read or heard anything about Fallen Gods, comment down below so I can kind of get an idea. Because yes, I'm going into it blind, but I don't want to go into it too blind, if that makes sense. Going on to book number 15, we have Watch Me by Tahede. I actually have the Barnes & Noble's edition with the cool like golden foiled edges. If you know me, you know I absolutely love the Shadow Me series. Erin Warner is like my #1 book boyfriend. So when she came out with the spin-off series that's about like not exactly their kids, but like I believe the male main character is Adam's little brother, who you read about in the Shadow Me series, and you do get features of Erin Warner in here as well. I was like, I gotta get my hands on it and I gotta read it. Have I read it yet? No. But to be fair, I was in the biggest reading slump all of last year. So just going off one of the little paragraphs, it says, James Anderson had a plan, or half of one. All that matters is he managed to do what his older brother, the famous Aaron Warner Anderson, never did. Infiltrate Ark Island, the last refuge of the reestablishment. I have no idea what to expect. But as long as we get to see hints of Aaron and Juliet, I will be happy. And honestly, just being able to get to read about James and see what he has done all grown up now. All of Taheda's books I have absolutely loved. I love this world. I love the characters, Kenji Nishimoto especially. So I'm really excited to go ahead and get back into this world. I remember when I first finished the series, I felt empty because it felt like I was closing, or I was leaving a world behind that I never got to go to, and I was leaving these characters. I was no longer going on this journey with them. So it'll be fun to just, you know, reminisce and jump back in it. And I say reminisce like I live this life with them, but y'all know what I mean. So book number 16 is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I've had this for about a year now, but I have yet to read it, but I've heard a lot of good things about this, as well as some controversy, because apparently the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts is basically this book, and this book came out first. So from what I remember, because when I picked this up a year ago, I did look at the summary. It is very similar to Powerless, where like depending on what blood you have, it's kind of like divided. So the book says, those with red and those with silver blood. Mare and her family are lowly reds, destined to serve the silver elite, whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. When Mare accidentally discovers a power of her own she didn't know she had, the Silver King is forced to hide the impossibility of her power and pretend she's a long-lost silver princess betrothed to one of his sons. Soon, Mare is drawn into the silver world where loyalty and desire can tear you apart and only certainty is betrayal. And before long, her actions put into motion a deadly and violent dance, pitting prince against prince and Mare against her own heart. So I remember when the controversy came out, people were talking about how, you know, she's like a quote-unquote like an ordinary, which is like in the Powerless world, and it's about the two princes who both want her heart. So I know this is going to be a love triangle, but I also know a lot of people love this series. One of my friends, Evan, this is one of her favorite series, and it's finished, which is one of the best parts because I'm not going to be like left waiting for the next book to come out. All the books are going to be out, so I'll be able to like start and finish the series. Book number 17 is one of my new books that I got from my most recent haul, and it's Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. So when I did my haul, I kind of talked about a little bit about what this book is about. It's that one of the girls, she's a witch, and her twins like mysteriously murdered, so it's like she's going on this quest like for vengeance. That's actually honestly all I know, never mind. A lot of people really like this series and I'm excited to start it. I have all 3 books as well as a spin-off series. So once I start and read it in 2026, hopefully I can just go ahead and knock out the series because I don't know. I've been hearing so much talk about it. You all have been hyping it up. I hope it lives up to its expectations. Book number 18 is actually Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. So this might be the only book that's actually a continuation of a series that I'm in the middle of, which is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This was the first book. I'm actually not sure if it's a series or if it's just like a duology. As far as I know, Enchantra is about the sister of Ophelia. I believe her name is Genevieve, and it's basically like her book, and from what I can remember, I believe she gets invited to this house where like no one can leave until like a game is finished, so she gets like tricked into this game. She's in a fake marriage. Not too sure on the details, but one of my book besties, Alex, read it and she loved it way more than she loved Phantasma, and I really loved Phantasma and Blackwell, so I'm excited to see how the second book goes and which one I end up liking better. Book number 18 is The Bodyguard by Catherine Senner. Oh, so it looks like our female main character is actually the bodyguard in this book. And it says that Hannah Brooks looks more like a kindergartner teacher than somebody who could kill you with a wine bottle opener. So it looks like she's a bodyguard to superstar actor Jack Stapleton. Well, this is interesting. This is definitely going to be like a forced proximity where she falls in love with her client and he falls in love with her bodyguard. His bodyguard. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Seems fun and cool, and I'm really intrigued to see like the female be like the badass strong one. So this looks like it's gonna be a fun read. Book number 20 I don't have, but it's The Chase by Elle Kennedy, and this is the first book of the Briar U series. So like I was kind of talking about earlier, I read the Off Campus series, which is like the first series, and the Briar U is kind of like the series after with like new or different characters. I think some of the old characters appear in it. Not too sure exactly on what timeline it follows, but like I said, I wanted to read the rest of Elle Kennedy's book, so this is my chance to finally start it. Book 21 is The Endmate by Frida McFadden. So recently, like I stated in the beginning of the video, I read The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret by her, and I also said that I wanted to get more into mystery and thrillers, so I want to give another one of her books a try. I've honestly heard a lot of controversy about this one. I've met some people who liked it and some people who like hated it, so I'm excited to see where I fall on that line because I love The Housemaid. I gave it a 5 stars and I was hooked enough to read the second book the next day. And I know this one's also pretty popular, so I'm excited to dive into it to see what it's like to be an inmate, because obviously it's going to be prison, someone's going to be in prison, and I'm really just excited to read about the plot twist and see if I can finally get one, because I was unable to fully guess The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret, which was a plus because I was still surprised and it honestly made me enjoy it more. Book number 22 is actually one of my most anticipated reads, and it's Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. So many of you guys and so many of my book talk friends love this series. Like, it's their top like series ever in the world, and I'm ashamed to say that I have not read it yet. I believe this is a rugby romance because it's either it takes place in Scotland or Ireland. It's one of the two, so I know there's like different terms and there's a dictionary in the beginning to kind of like get you familiar with some of the words you're gonna see. Also, going into this blind, I feel like I do know some spoilers, like kind of big events that happens throughout the series, as well as like who the main characters are, so I'm not gonna read the summary and I'm gonna try and avoid them now that I'm finally gonna read it. Honestly, I'll probably read this one soon because it's been very anticipated for a really long time. I've always wanted to start the series, I just never had the time, but now I do. So this will honestly probably be a video in itself. Probably come read Binding 13 with me or start the Boys Atonement series because it's such a popular series. But yeah, stay tuned because this is book number 21. But moving on to book number 23, we got The Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. So this book came out back in 2024. I remember when it came out there was a lot of hype about it. All that I'm familiar with is it's about witches, but I know the second book came out last year. So I know that it's going to be a series and that there's already a lot of, you know, there's already more books. I know my friend Dea read it and she absolutely loved it. She gave it a 5 stars. I just didn't realize that this was this book. I actually found this one based off the Explore features on Goodreads and Fables yet again, and it just looked really good. I saw that it also has a lot of ratings, so let's give it a try. Going on to book number 24, we have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Or Haig, not too sure how to pronounce it. This one is totally out of my comfort zone because this is not really like fantasy or romance. I believe it's just pure fiction. So kind of nervous but excited. It does have about 2.5 million views. A very popular book. I've heard a lot of people talk about it and I think it's finally time to dive into it. I know it's a popular read and it was recommended to me by Goodreads, so I was like, okay, let's add it, let's give it a chance. And the concept about this book is actually pretty cool. So in between life and the death, there is a library. When Nora Seed finds herself at this library, she has a chance to make things right. So like she kind of lived with regret her whole life. At the library you can make changes. I believe you get like a chance to make changes to undo every one of her regrets so she can get the perfect life, but as time runs out she's faced with the question, what is the best way to live? So I feel like this is gonna be a very deep read because kind of like how should you live in life, like it's gonna be more fictional and more like eye-opening than like adventure, fantasy, romance. But I love this idea. Like I said, I want to broaden my reading, so I think this is gonna be a good way to do it. For book number 25, we have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I decided for this year I also want to get more into reading classics, and I honestly really loved the Pride and Prejudice movie, the 2000s one, and it was so good. I loved it. The yearning, the you have bewitched me body and soul, like oh. So I really want to read the book and get more into like classical reading. For Christmas, my grandma-in-law actually got me a book from the Literary Book Club, and it's like about a lot of classic books that have like fancy covers that are rebound, and as you like read the books you get to open like little trinkets and gifts the box comes with. So it's like when you get to page 64, open this, and I'm pretty sure it's like the object or item from that page. The book that was in the box that she gave me is A Phantom of the Opera, so that's another classic that I'm looking forward to reading. But Pride and Prejudice is definitely going to be the first classic I want to read, just because I really love that movie and I love Jane Austen as it is, everything she stands for. So I think it'll be good to kind of open up my palette and read a classic. Going into our last book for 2026, book number 26, we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So this one has been a long time coming. I have had this book since the Book of the Month edition, and I believe this was back in 2023, if not early 2024, and it has just been sitting on my shelf. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I know, like, there's just one scene where the guy literally crawls to her, like he yearns for her. So I don't know why I haven't read it yet, honestly. Like, yes, lack of time, but also I feel like there's just so many good books out that I've kind of like put this one on the back burner, but I'm finally ready to read it. I'm stoked. I put it on the 2026 TBR because I really want to get to it this year. I'm making that commitment to myself. And then just going off the summary, so a lot of you guys probably know what this book is about because I'm just late to the game, but two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection. They must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. So I know this book has like the gods in them, and it's a really good romantasy that's young adult. I also believe it's a duology. I know there's a second book, Ruthless Vows. I don't know if it continues off that, if it's more than just 2 books. But at least I know that once I finish this one, I'll have the second one to read right away. Let me know your guys' thoughts, because I know I've talked about this in so many of my Come Build a TBR with me. I feel like I've added this to every single one, just never got to it. But this is my 2026 commitment. At some point, we will read this book. And hopefully it will be this month, just so I can like stop putting it off, because I fear that there is a probably high chance I won't get to it, but we'll see. But anyways, we did it. That was it. That was my 26 books for 2026. This was honestly a lot of fun to make and a lot of talking. But yeah, if you made it this far, I give you props because I've just been yapping. I'm really excited to read all these books, and I hope that I can hit all of them. I know nearing the end of 2026, I'll probably make a did I read my 26 books of 2026 and kind of go over whether I read them or not and the reviews, but I'm sure you guys will see my TBR and my reading wrap-up videos and you'll see if I actually got to them. But with nonetheless, you guys know the drill. Comment down below what books you guys want me to see first, or what I should read first, or if there's any other books I should keep on my radar for my 2026 TBR. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.